Now, the huge leak of sensitive financial data known as the Paradise Papers has been making headlines all week. The BBC has uncovered evidence in the leak of how multinational companies are able to shift their profits out of developing countries. And the IMF estimates it costs the developing world about $200 billion a year. David Grossman reports from Namibia on how the government says it has had enough of watching its tax revenue disappear.
A trawler is preparing to leave Walvis Bay. The crew make final phone calls before they sail out of range of the signal. The seas off Namibia are some of the richest fishing grounds in the world, and the industry is booming. This company is Namibian-owned and registered and pays tax in Namibia, but many of its competitors do not.
We've discovered through a huge cache of leaked documents that some multinational companies are harvesting Namibia and other developing countries' natural resources and then channeling the profits through secretive offshore companies based in tax havens. It's a huge problem that's costing the developing world, some of the poorest people on the planet, wealth that should be theirs.
Much of the money is channeled through tax havens like Mauritius. Our investigation of the Paradise Papers for assignment on BBC World Service has discovered a good example. A Namibian fishing company apparently managed from this building in Port Louis, Mauritius. But when we looked there was nothing except the offices of the law firm Appleby. Basing your fishing management company here means it can enjoy the ultra-low tax rate of 3%.
So here we have the original tax treaty between Namibia and Mauritius.
This is the one that was signed.
This is the cause of Namibia's problems, an agreement that allows companies to shift profits to Mauritius. Namibia, like most developing countries, has many such agreements, but they have had enough.
As far as we are concerned, yeah, there are some loopholes that we need to close. Yeah, it's not a good deal at the moment for us because it was signed in 1995, and over time, new development, have occurred.
People find ways of exploiting this.
Yeah, exactly.
For regular citizens patiently queuing to file their tax returns in Windhoek, Namibia's capital, there's no choice but to pay up. But the finance minister told me that tax agreements mean that for many of the multinationals that operate here, paying tax has become a matter of choice.
Many of them are bad agreements. They should be just torn up and renegotiated, because it is absolutely untenable that we continue year in, year out, giving resources away, see wealth built up in countries where the investors come from, but where the resource comes from, there is perpetual poverty and a very small return from these natural resources.
Thousands of Namibians now have jobs in the fish plants of Walvis Bay. This one is Namibian-owned and registered and pays tax here. But the fact that many fishing companies do not means Walvis Bay can only afford a third of the school places it needs. This year, fights broke out among parents queuing to get a precious place for their child.
The police come to put the people to arrest them. So the people don't want to move. They start putting the gas and kicking them.
As the sun goes down and the shifts change in the busy fish factories, like much of the developing world, Namibia is locked into a dilemma. It needs foreign investment to make money from its resources. But with the help of tax havens and expensive lawyers exposed in the Paradise Papers, multinationals too often spirit that money away. David Grossman, BBC News, Namibia.